Listen, have you been pondering rather to buy a home, wholesale, retail, or even what's the difference, man? Listen, you found the right video. Who am I? I'm Kareem Lewis, your trusted realtor, the one that keeps it real with you, aka Salted Sales. And I'm back again, hot topic, retail, wholesale. What's the differences? Keeping you from taking the big L. Go ahead, like always, make sure you like, subscribe, follow, share, help me, help you, help us. Let's get into it. Retail or wholesale? What is the differences and how can you make both work for you? So now let's go ahead and let's go simple Simon with this, right? If we're going to say, what is the difference when somebody says wholesale or retail? What is the difference? We already know if you buy products in the store. You know, wholesale prices, of course, is a cheaper price. You're usually buying stuff probably in bulk or you getting it at a cheaper price. Retail is usually easier to get, right? Because wholesale is always hard to find. It's always hard to find wholesale prices, wholesale products, right? You usually have to be licensed, usually have to have tax IDs, all this, yada, yada, be a part of clubs like Sam's Clubs or I forgot the other one. I can't think of it right now. But, you know, you got to be a part of some club to get wholesale prices. Retail, which anybody can get, right? It's out there to the open, but it's going to be a higher price. So now when we talk about what's the differences, wholesale and retail in real estate, let's break it down like this. With wholesale, right? Off market deals, right? Off market deals, meaning somebody owns a home. Maybe, you know, they got the home from an inheritance. Sadly, somebody passed away. They got a home. They're not in the state of the home. You know, they don't live in the same state. They don't want to keep it, but they got to deal with it because it was, you know, they got it in inheritance. They don't want to do any repairs or whatever. So an investor hit them up. Hey, man, I see you just got this home. Are you planning on doing anything with it? No, I want to sell it. So now they can make a deal wholesale, you know, where, of course, they're going to include factor in the cost of acquisition costs, repair costs, holding costs, you know, the cost to sell it, stuff like that, and give them a price. Usually people will say, yeah, because I just want the money, get it off my hands, and that's it. That's wholesale, right? Retail, when you talk about retail in real estate, anything listed on the MLS is retail, right? Anything on the MLS, and the MLS is not only, you know, the websites that you get from your realtors like me, Zillow, Realtor.com, Hot Pads. I think they got 5,000 different sites now that will feed off the MLS. It's all retail sales. And the reason why people put it on the MLS because they're trying to get the top dollar, right? Top dollar and more eyes, more viewership, right? So they looking to get the better price. I've seen a lot of times where wholesale deals, you know, people will list it and it becomes like a auction mark. You know, they might put, say, I've seen fire homes, right? Homes that was burnt down. And wholesale, you know, you can buy them for like 50 grand, 80 grand, but they'll list it on the MLS and now it starts bidding wars. They'll start it low. But then, of course, when people submitting their contracts, oh, I get it off your hands for 50. No, I get 55. I'll do 60. I'll do 80. And they'll wind up getting about 110, 120 grand for the same house that off market would only got them about 40, 50, right? And this is the purpose of retail. So now, as an investor, right, you might say to yourself, you know, what's the best deal? Or not even investors, because we know investors already know this. So I want to make this more for the first time home buyer, you know, first time investor. And you're thinking, which way should I go? Will I make more money going the wholesale way or will I make more money the retail way? Aha, it's pros and cons of everything. So this is the purpose of this video. So now let me go into the meat and potatoes. Let's start with retail, okay? I had a video before talking about new construction homes and talking about how investors, to keep them from taking the L, how, you know, when getting a new construction home, a lot of investors that purchase new construction homes, because it's not just these big investment firms or REITs that's buying this. You got, average people that buy it, doctors, lawyers, bankers, people, of course, they got some income, they need some tax shelters. So they get these properties, one, because it's newer, so it's less issues, right? But two, it's a way to, tax shelters. Really, that's what it becomes. But even with that, I've seen a lot where people buy these new homes. And remember, I told you with new homes, after 2 years, those taxes hit. So then everything jumps up. And a lot of times these people are buying these homes that, again, once the market, the taxes catch up, what you have to pay overall for the home versus the rent market, the average rent value for the area, you wind up losing money on new homes. And it's a way to buy retail, right? And still make it so that you kind of think ahead when the tax is going to go up, the rental rates and things like that. That's why you need to use a trusted realtor like myself. So if you're thinking about buying an investment home, for all my investors, whether you seasoned or you brand new, you looking at this video, you better hit me up, because if you take an L, that's your fault, because I done told you. I am the source, right? Anyway, the best way to get these homes, if you're looking for brand new, is to always buy inventory homes, right? And even for my regular buyers, if you're looking to buy your dream home and you go into that new home community, the best deals will be on the inventory homes. Why? Simple. The inventory homes, when you buy a home, right, and you build it from the ground up, where you get to pick the colors and the fixtures, and it makes you feel good, right? You got to understand, when you're building it up, the builders are taking a risk. The reason why is because to build a home, it takes 4 to 6 months. And as you heard me say many times before, protecting your credit, when you're buying a home, don't do anything, don't shop around, don't try to buy anything, because anything you do, it can mess up your approval. And a lot of times people do this, and after 6 months, it's time to close. They can't, because they purchase a car, they purchase furniture, or they got a new credit, something stupid, and they messed up their credit. So with builders, they know, listen, we can't give you no big discounts because you're building this home. And likewise, if you notice, even though you're building the home and you're picking out features, it's really features that the builder would pick anyway. They only give you a limited selection. And if you want to make some grand selection, that's when they tell you, well, you got to pay for that out of pocket. So this way they, protect what they're spending. Because again, every builder, it's like every built home that's built, they're taking out loans. And once the home is completed, they get a little bit of time. Now that home is costing them money. That's why inventory homes are cheaper or have the biggest discounts, because now they built it up. They know, listen, we got to make payments on these homes, so we got to hurry up and, get them sold. And that's why they'll offer all the bigger discounts and cut prices, stuff like that. That's the key, the inventory home. Now, there's another secret sauce time for new home. They have what's called back pocket cash deals, right? And you usually got to know somebody to get in with these deals. Again, I am that realtor that got ins with some of these new home builders that can get you that cash price list. So again, hit me up. If you're in Texas, hit me up. If you North Dakota, South Dakota, Georgia, Maryland, wherever you at, hit me up. Let me help plug you in on that secret sauce so you can save you some money, right? Likewise, in today's market, talking about retail, the best homes to purchase is not the homes that just were listed, because again, if they're selling it retail, they're trying to get the highest slice. So if they just hit the market, they're going to, you'll see as a home, right? The first 30 days, the market is going to dictate if the price is right based on the type of home. So if somebody lists a home, say they listed for 400 grand, if they already got it, a couple of offers came in within the first 30 days, that means it's priced right. It matches the value, or what people perceive the value to be. And then a lot of times they'll get over the list price, especially when they have multiple offers. This happens in the first 30 days. Once a home passed those 30 days, if you look, and say if you are on HAR, right? Here in Houston, you on HAR and you're looking at homes, and you know how if you hooked up with me, I can give you access where you can actually save your favorites. And if you heart something, it was just listed, you heart it. Then you look 2 months later and you see it still haven't sold. But the thing you'll notice in the remarks section, you'll see where the price was slashed 10%, down 1,000, down 10,000, down 20,000 from before. Why? The longer a home sits on the market, the more the seller would want to negotiate. Especially if they really need to get rid of that home, they're going to negotiate down. That's where your meat and potatoes is. So again, use a realtor like me to set up these settings for you, for your searches, so you can get the best deal retail. Now, let's jump back to wholesale, right? When buying wholesale, I already talked about earlier where, it's off-market deals, right? Somebody got a home, they want to sell it for whatever reason. It's not on the market. Usually, it's some repairs that's needed. I've seen some that qualify for what's called a hotel deal, not wholesale, but hotel. And hotel is just a home that, at best, it might just need some quick lawn work, retouch paint, maybe some quick, renew the appliances, something simple where within a week or two, it could be ready to be listed. Something that doesn't need, just cosmetic work. And you can find these off market for a good price, where it's automatically instant equity in the homes, right? Sometimes you can find that. But the greatest wholesale deals right now is when you build yourself, right? I'm going to say this again. You look at a home, the same home that sells for 400 grand, 9 times out of 10, whoever built the home only spent anywhere from 2 to 300 grand to build that home. So guess how you get the cheaper deal? Wholesale. Wholesale the land, find you a builder, get it built up, and you can wind up saving, 50, 100, almost 200 grand. So you have the equity built up. And because of that equity that you have, that's your piggy bank. Remember I told you in videos before, your piggy bank. The reason why people buy homes. When you ask me, should I rent or should I buy? And I always tell you to buy. Why? Because one way or another, you're paying a mortgage. Rather it's your mortgage or your landlord's mortgage, you're paying a mortgage. And you're putting money in somebody else's piggy bank. The piggy bank that I'm referring to is equity. When a home appreciates in value, it builds equity. As you pay down a mortgage, right? You pay down that principal payment, it builds up equity. Equity is a source that you can always tap in. Let's just say you got kids that's going to college, or God forbid something happened, you need some money, to hold down your family or whatever, to make payments. You lost your job. You can do a home refinance, home equity loan, and you can pull some of that equity out, if not all. Or if you need to sell, hey, I can sell it and just get out the home with the equity. I'm making some cash. So again, that's your piggy bank. That's infinite bacon, baby. So listen, wholesale will always be the best way to buy and set up property. However, it's a little more risk. It's a little more skin to the game. Retail is already built up. You're not building up a home. You're not needing permits. You're not having to do all the, the things that it takes to get a new construction necessary. But wholesale, you make bigger profits. So it just depends where you at in the game. Again, this is why you need to get with a trusted realtor as myself, so that this way we can train you up and get you right. So again, this is Kareem Lewis. If you have any questions on what you heard on this video, 346-589-8925, 346-589-8929. Or go ahead and put it in the comments. And as always, if you have a question, right, and maybe you want me to make a video about it. Listen, I always look for new topics to make videos about. So if you have that, hit me up, 346-589-8925, or you can send it to my email at Kareem, Kareem, at sergeantsalestxhomes.com. So let me spell it out, Kareem at SGTSELLSTXHOMES.com. Send that to me, and I'll go ahead and make a video. So again, thank you guys for listening, tuning in, and stay tuned for the next ones. This is Kareem Lewis signing out. God bless.